How hard is it to get a 6-star Verdoc? Can you get into Chapter 6 and 7 as a free-to-play player? And what are the best things to buy from the shop? Let's talk about all of that and more in this video. So the conversation has to be had about, free-to-play players, budget players, all of that. Where is the best strategy to go? Don't make the mistake of thinking that you can get the totem without spending a little bit of money. Okay.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central, and in this video, I want to talk a little bit about Verdoc and the event as a whole. And this is me. This is my real account. I'm not paid by Hero Wars or anything like that. Just want to show what I've gotten so far with my Verdoc. By the way, they did give me the big $200 Verdoc pre-order package. So I've got a 6-star maxed skin. My artifacts, I'm not maxing my artifacts. I'll talk about why in just a second. But that's it. I'm going for the 5 Earth team for Clash of Worlds for defense. So we're going to be pumping up our Earth totem as much as we can, and all of that. So first and foremost, a discussion about the Cycle of Awakening, the chapters. Over on the blog, herowarcentral.com, I've got boss fight guide right here. Free-to-play teams for every level, all the way up to chapter 6 so far. So if if you're still looking for good teams to use for the boss fights, then there you go. We also have a discussion on the relics, which relic to level up first. And that's kind of where I want to talk about, what I want to talk about in today's video. So there is kind of 2 things you can do in the Verdoc event. You can go for the totem, which requires you to spend your energy, right, your energy crystals, primarily leveling up the Amulet of Battle. You're going to need 250 total Amulet of Battle power, which is 790 total energy. The Tome of Greed and the Grail of Generosity, neither one affect the cost of the Amulet of Battle. So it is just a flat 790 energy. If we look at the cost of the relic, we got a cost of the relic blog post. The Amulet of Battle, yeah, here we go. Costs 790 total energy, right? So if you are trying to go for the totem, guaranteed totem fragment of your choice, then you're going to want to level up the Amulet of Battle, and that's where your energy is going to go. If you're trying to get Verdoc Soul Stones or artifacts from the Altar of Fate, perhaps. The Seal of Nature, by the way, works on Asherona, the Fire Summoner, and Titus, the Water Summoner, not just Verdoc. So if you don't care about Earth Titans, then everything should be going into Seal of Nature, because that's like the limited time only item in this event, or Titan Skin Stones, Essence of the Elements level artifacts, Titan XP potions, etc., etc. If you're gonna go for artifacts for a future Titan, or artifacts to level Verdoc, or Verdoc Soulstones itself, then you're going to want to use the Tome of Greed and the Grail of Generosity. That's where the bulk of your energy should go. Your energy crystals should go, right? So the conversation has to be had about free-to-play players, budget players, all of that. Where is the best strategy to go? There are a couple of online tools out there, but they're incomplete. They don't show the whole picture, and you can find those. I'll link one in the pinned comment, by the way. It's helpful for one part of what I'm talking about, but not for the whole picture. In order to get a 6-star Verdoc, some people have done the math, and you're going to need 250 to 260 pulls from the altar. All right, so 25 to 26 of the 10x spins to go from 0 Verdoc up to a 6-star Verdoc and Fido, right? And if you're going to be spending all of that currency on there, then you might want to consider lowering the cost of the Grail of Generosity a little bit, and then this gets you more coins back as you're working through it. Now the bad news is the tasks in this event were changed from the Cascade event and the previous events. The Cycle of Awakening and Guardian of Balance tasks, they're different. They're slightly worse. Okay, so the math on it breaks down to, the average free-to-play player can get around 20 to 30 energy less, the energy crystals. Free-to-play players, budget players, are going to get around 20 to 30 less energy in this event than in previous events. So in order to get into Chapter 6 as a free-to-play or a budget player, you either need to spend a little bit of money, all right, just a little bit, I don't quite have 250. I only have 24 here, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more to get into those last 50 levels there. It is more expensive. This event is more expensive than previous years. So free-to-play and budget players, you're going to have a hard time getting into Chapter 6. And Chapter 6 has the red gift of Dominion, 50,000 of the currency, and 10 of the Sapphire Medallions, which helps other of tasks. But that grand prize for Chapter 7 being that guaranteed totem fragment, you got to ask yourself how important that guaranteed totem fragment is. There's a lot of ways to get totem fragments nowadays. Is it worth spending 40, 45, maybe even $50? But the good news is since this is a 7-day long event, you have people in your guild that might be buying bundles that might, give you energy. We also were given some energy in today's post. I don't know if I've already collected it today or not. So we were given a couple of energy in today's gift. We might get that again a little bit later on, another 12 or so, but we got that last in the Cascade event as well. So if you're counting on this to get you there, I'm just not so sure. If you can just never get to Chapter 7, if you can just financially, as a free-to-play or a budget player, never upgrade the Amulet of Battle to 250 because you just don't have enough energy, then in my opinion, you should focus on the shop and Verdoc Soulstones instead. And for what it's worth, the limited time only items are the way to go for me. For me, it's the Seal of Nature. Okay, Seal of Nature is going to be the seal fragment for all 3 Summoner Titans. If you like Verdoc, then put them on Verdoc. If you are a Fire Titan or a Water Titan, get those just to save them for that event. Makes sense? Anvari's Root and Seal of Nature, these are the only 2 limited time only items in here. Each one of these energy crystals is worth about 5,000 emeralds. But we'll do a full breakdown. They're over on the blog, HeroWarsCentral.com. There's a full breakdown of the shop thanks to Calorie Fair as well. So don't make the mistake of thinking that you can get the totem without spending a little bit of money. Okay, you just can't. I'm not even sure that free-to-play budget players can even get to Chapter 6, if I'm being honest with you. And, it's just how they've just changed the tasks slightly enough that it's just a little bit out of reach. Probably intentionally. Yeah. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plans are. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.